Hello, and we're live. Woo. All right, well, welcome. Thanks for joining, everyone. We're all really happy to be here today. It's been a little bit since September, since we had our last developer experience live stream. So, we're going to share some updates that have happened in the last few months, some exciting new improvements to the developer experience, some doc updates, a cool, cute course that Tanner's going to talk about, some conference updates, and all sorts of fun stuff. So, thanks for joining again, everyone. Go ahead and throw in the chat on YouTube where you're coming from, and we're going to go ahead and introduce ourselves. So I'll start. I'm Courtney Otto, and I'm a developer advocate on Esri's developer experience team with most of the people here. Tanner is our guest today, and let him explain in a sec. We're going to go ahead and also say a little fun fact about ourselves. So my fun fact is last month for Christmas time, I visited London, and it was a really fun experience. I got to see all sorts of cool Christmas light displays and Christmas markets, and I went to the famous Winter Wonderland in London. So yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Courtney, sorry I'm interrupting. I think Tanner camera is not showing on the live stream, right?
Weird.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's not. I'm checking on YouTube. Yes.
Yeah, try. Okay, you're right. I it's weird because I see it here, but I don't see it there. So sorry, I have 4 monitors, but huh.
Yeah, I don't know why.
I don't know.
Anyway,
I know, right? Well, I guess you know what. Let's we'll go to Mark, and then Tanner. I don't know if you want to try to do something with your camera for a second, and we can have you introduce yourself at the end.
You can also just be a disembodied voice as well.
Yeah. True.
I know.
It'd be tough for the demo. I'll go ahead if you want to.
Okay, sounds good.
So hello, everyone. My name is Mark. I'm a product engineer on the developer experience team with Courtney and Raul and Anita. And so we maintain and create content for developers.arcgis.com. I'm currently in Charlotte, North Carolina. And one fun fact about me is I was a military brat. So we moved around all over the country when I was growing up, never in one place for more than 4 years, which I believe is what fostered my interest in geography and spatial sciences.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks, Mark. So I guess, let's see, next we can go to Anita.
Okay, yeah. I'm Anita. I work with Raul and Courtney and Mark on the developer experience team. And with Mark, we work on the documentation. And let's see, fun fact about me, I guess if I'm not working, I'm probably on a Lyra now. And also some silks, but now since it's winter, it's pretty cold. So yeah, it's time for Lyra. So yeah, I don't know if that's my fun fact.
Awesome. That's cool. All right, so I guess we'll try Raul next. Yeah.
Hello, everybody. Cool. Raul from the developer experience team too. I'm a developer relations engineer working with Courtney, trying to help all of you bringing new content, helping other folks to produce more resources for you, and also to advocate in your behalf internally. And my fun fact is, the other day I was thinking, I think the first computer program I wrote was when I had around 11 years old. It was quite interesting back at that time with a old PC. So yeah,
Yeah. What kind of program was this?
it was written in QBasic. It was a role game. I used to play a lot of role games with my brother. So I made a very, very simple role game. It was kind of choose your own story. It was full of if, then, else, and go tos
Hmm.
to jump from one part of the code to another one. It was fun.
Nice.
It was full of bugs.
I see. So it was like a choose your own adventure type thing
Yeah,
or whatever.
exactly. Yeah.
No
Okay.
debugger.
Nice. All right. Well, I guess maybe we won't be able to see Tanner today, but we'll at least get to hear him. So, want to go ahead and introduce yourself, Tanner? No worries. Nice.
Currently, people on the live stream are saying that Tanner's audio isn't coming through the live stream either. So
Oh
that's
no.
Oh,
even more concerning.
Uh-oh. Hmm.
Um, I don't think it's a permissions issue. And I would try maybe joining the live stream again, leaving and joining, and see if that,
Yeah, maybe completely close it out.
yeah,
Okay. We'll see what happens.
yeah, because we were expecting Tanner to go first, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, because we got to let him go do his duties at
yes.
CES. Yeah.
So now it's time to tell a joke.
Gosh,
I'm very
Yeah,
bad
right.
at jokes, so I won't do it.
how good is everyone's improv skills? I don't know.
Oh,
It's been
man.
years.
Not good. We all need training.
Yes, and.
Exactly.
Oh, hey. Tanner, I think you
Tanner,
can
I
see
think
now.
now you're back. I think now you are
Let's
live
check.
and your camera is being streamed. I
I'm
think.
checking the YouTube stream. I don't see it there.
I see you there now.
Oh, wonderful. Hello. Hi, everyone.
Yay.
Uh,
Awesome.
so,
Anyone watching, if you could confirm that you can hear him too. That'd be great.
yeah.
Cool.
Well,
All right.
I guess I'll reintroduce myself. My name is Tanner Gould. I'm a product engineer on the ArcGIS Maps SDK for native apps team. And yeah, fun fact about me is that I am calling in live from the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas. I'm calling from a hotel room, hence the technical difficulties, probably. But we're partnering with the Qt Group at CES this year. We've got a station set up in their demo booth where we're demoing an app made with the ArcGIS Maps SDK for Qt. It's a really robust app, so I won't go into all the details because that'll take up way too much time. But it's really cool. If you want to come stop by, say hi, learn more about it, and our SDK, we're going to be in the West Hall in room 310 for the full week. So, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, if you happen to be at CES.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. Great. All right. Well, thanks for sticking with us through our small difficulties there, everyone.
Yeah.
We're gonna go ahead and get started. We're gonna let Tanner go first. He's gonna talk about the Qt Academy course that was released, I think, last month. So
Yes, just last month. So,
awesome.
awesome.
Sounds good.
Yeah. I want to give a little bit of a background. The Qt group just launched their Qt Academy, which is like an online repository of a bunch of courses. And they reached out to us to see if we wanted to make a course on how to work with the ArcGIS Maps SDK for Qt and build a mapping app with their framework. So I was really excited about that. Another fun fact about me is that my background is actually in environmental studies, and I taught myself to program entirely through like online courses, much like the one that I made. So I was really excited to get the opportunity to do this. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and I'll show the. I'm just going to share my entire screen.
Sounds good.
Perfect. And here we have the course. So it's broken up into 4 different parts. It's about a 2.5 hour long course where I walk you through the steps of creating a hiking app with the ArcGIS Maps SDK for Qt. This app can track your location. It can plot your the course you've traveled over time. It can download a Basemap to your phone's memory, and then it can display that Basemap if you're offline. So yeah, we worked with them. They did a really good job of I created videos. I recorded myself creating this app, going step by step through all of the steps from a basic template all the way to the app. And they did a very good job of transcribing all of that into step-by-step instructions as well. And I have that. Oh, that's a dummy API key. I'm going to delete that after this. So don't, if you're trying to save the API key, I'm sorry, that's not going to work. But here's the final app. You can see I'm staying here at the Mandalay Bay. It can track our location. We can download the area and take it off and display it if it's offline. So I don't think I have any downloaded maps. Nope. So yeah, I intentionally made this app a little bare bones because I wanted to give students the opportunity to customize it themselves. So like this download area button, we can take the area offline. I'll say yes. And then there's download in progress. It takes a while because there's a lot of information to download. And I hope I'm not destroying my internet connection by this. I'm going to go ahead and close this. But I didn't include like a cancel button or the things you would expect to find. We wanted students to kind of play with the code themselves and learn how to do that. So yeah, here I'm going to stop sharing my screen.
Awesome. Yeah. No, so that
and then
Qt
I wanted to
Academy
say
course. Sorry, go ahead.
one more thing is because it's a Qt app. I developed it on a Mac, but it also runs on Mac OS, Windows, Linux, Android, and iOS. And with the same code base, you can deploy it to any of those devices. So I also have it, hold on, the same app here running on my phone from the same code base, which is really cool. So yeah.
Huh. Wow, that is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's neat. So the link to that course, we'll be sure to put that in the video description so anyone can find it. I don't know if I missed if you said this or not, Tanner, but I just had the thought. So how long is this course? If someone would
It's about 2.5 hours of video content. Yeah.
Nice.
So,
yeah. Okay. And is it intended for like any?
It's intended for beginners. So it's expected you have a little bit of understanding with C++ and QML like UIs, but I really do walk you through every single line of code, explaining step by step what we're doing, why we're doing it. And so even if you have no C++ experience or no experience with Qt, it is a really good starting point. So
yeah. Awesome. Yeah. That's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's funny because when I was studying to become a developer, I was studying web development, and I initially learned with Python for like website backends, and then JavaScript. And I really wanted to work with Esri because it's a great company, and I had been a GIS technician as well, and so I had used their technology beforehand. So I threw my application at Esri kind of to see if it stuck anywhere, and it happened to stick in a C++ developer position. And I had never studied C++, but yeah, the
Yeah.
Qt framework makes it pretty easy to get started with what is otherwise a very intimidating language.
Okay, yeah, nice, yeah. No, that's a nice little bit into your background and how you got into it, and kind of showing that other there's plenty of avenues to get into it as well. And this course, it sounds like you have the right experience to have developed it, so that's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was a ton of fun. So,
cool.
any other
Great.
questions on this? I've got the chats open and everything.
Yeah, let's see. I don't think we have any questions from the chat. Does anyone else have any questions? Any of our other speakers that aren't on the screen right now? I think we're good. Well,
Awesome.
I'm excited for you to be there at CES, and
Yeah, it's a ton of fun. It's super overwhelming, but there are so many people here. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I went and toured the show floor yesterday and got lost, and it took but
It's huge.
I'll be hiding in the cute room today and not doing
Okay.
too many adventures, but yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, of course. Oh, actually, wait.
yeah.
One more question came in real quick. Is the course free?
Yes, very good question. The course is free. So yeah, it's qt.io/academy. You can sign up for a student account, and all of the courses are free. It's free to make an account, and yeah, you get access to everything on their site through the account. So yeah.
Awesome. Great.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Well, thanks again.
Thank you. All right, I'm gonna go head down to the convention or the expo, and thank you again so much for having me.
Cool. Yeah. Thanks for joining us. See you later, Tanner.
Have a good one. Bye.
Bye. All right. So we are gonna go on to Mark next, I believe.
Okay.
Cool. Let's
Can
see.
you hear me
Mark
okay?
is gonna do some. Yes, I can hear you. You're gonna do some doc content updates and some dashboard updates.
Yeah. So some data hosting, kind of all about data hosting updates, which includes documentation updates and some platform dashboard updates.
Sounds good.
So I will share and let me know how my screen looks.
Looks good.
All right. Okay. Yeah. So that kind of just take a few minutes today to talk about data hosting and the developer documentation updates that we made to support that, along with the for platform developers, the dashboard updates. And so we'll look at some concepts that we've updated, new code samples, new tutorials, new workflows, and then take a quick stroll through the dashboard and see what's updated there. And so to for those that aren't familiar, you can go to the main developers.arcgis.com site and go to documentation. And to get into the developer guides, we'll go to get started. And our main mapping and API location services guide has a completely redesigned and re-architectured section for data hosting, which breaks down kind of what data hosting is, how it's used, the services. And I should also want to mention that as of November, that data hosting is out of beta, so it's been in a beta context for a little bit, and in November we officially released that. And so in support of that, we've really kind of done a lot of work on this data hosting chapter to fully document kind of the entire workflow of the of storing your data in ArcGIS as hosted services. So to kind of start, we'll go into the data hosting chapter. There's a good overview of what it is, how to get started, that kind of thing. One of the topics that I'd like to kind of really highlight is this new paradigm that we've kind of taken of how to work with data services. So, generally you have to have kind of data to bring in. So we document and describe how to create data, get it into the system, and then manage that data, and then how to access that data. So you'll notice we kind of have these high level topics and then guide topics that then get you into the different specifics for each of those high level create, manage, and access sections. And also, what I want to point out is we do throughout the new guide have each product specified for any job requests or code for each product, what the differences are there. And if we go through, a bunch of new tutorials and then API specific tutorials. So I thought I'd start here. Let me know if these are coming on. You'll notice we break down each of the types of data services supported in data hosting through feature services, vector tile services, and then map tile services. And those within each have that same paradigm where we describe creating, managing, and then accessing those services. So there's a nice introduction, a types of data sets page that breaks down each of the different types, with samples. Best practices are scattered throughout the documentation to kind of lead you in the right direction so that you can best have you can utilize these services in an optimal way, right? And in a cost effective way. So we talk about feature layer views, and each of those different types then, are broken down into these different pages. So for getting your data into the system, right, there's two different ways. We can either upload some data, and there's a full, there's more best practices and tips, some general steps, right? Different types of data sets, the field matching, and then different tools and data and services that how those all match up together with the type of service that you're using. One of the big things I want to look at is this manage section, which goes into detail about optimizing and utilizing your services and items. One of the ones we haven't really documented much in the past is this drawing optimization and the CDN caching. And you notice kind of how we go through here, we have specifics on what a drawing optimization is, how it works, how it can benefit you if you're using the Maps SDKs, have built-in support for drawing optimization. But if you happen to be using a third-party library, then we have code examples with REST examples and the responses, and all throughout, along with best practices. And another one I want to highlight is the CDN caching, all right, which can really optimize how you deliver your services to your users as a developer. And this documentation doesn't applies to all developers of the products, whether it be the platform, online, or enterprise. And we have examples for those, and you'll see this same paradigm throughout on each of the different data types. So create, manage, access is a theme throughout the entire chapter. We've also added a lot of sample code, accessing layers, what's the kind of the general process for getting started in accessing layers, along with the source service URL in each of the different products, different code samples for accessing these layers, along with the best practices. We talk a lot about item IDs and how those are associated with the services and how that paradigm works and the different options you have for accessing. You can access through the URL or through the item ID. again, you're really leveraging a lot of this using the Maps SDKs, but this applies to developers of all types. Same applies for vector tile services. Create, stepping through managing all the different items that you can manage in a vector tile layer. Oh, I'd really do too want to kind of focus on these kind of new samples that we've added. And this query page is refresh that. We've got samples, trying to give you a guidance into what data service is best for me as a developer, and what do I want to use as a developer? What type of data service would benefit me the depending on what my workflow is. So you notice we've got samples of when to use feature queries, the best practices, how to query those features. This is a really important topic, the types of queries as it applies to CDN caching, and really taking advantage of that CDN caching so that you really get the best performance and in your feature services. So we talk about repeatable and unique queries, and then have some nice code examples that support each of those, right? So a repeatable query is one that you're going to run and it will be cached and available at the best performance possible. And then a unique query is one that can't be cached, and the samples for those are associated here. We talk about the different types of caching and go into some detail about the REST endpoint, and then some of the actually samples, such as if you're not using one of the Maps SDKs, how to implement paging with your queries, right? So we can jump around here. Let me get my screen in order. All right, and so this sample is actually taking chunks and performing those queries in the most optimal way, where we just get a certain amount, and how we implement that in the API, both in the JavaScript API and in the REST API. And kind of the important parameters to use there: the result record count and the result offset. Another interesting example here is the client side queries. So the full, I guess I should show kind of, you'll notice we're running this example, and as we hover over these, we're performing these statistics on the fly on the client side without a request back to the back end. And we can change, the type here through different filters. So there's a lot of good topics and some really good content here, covering kind of the full aspect of hosted data, hosted feature services, and alongside the vector tile and map tile services. Let's see here. Also want to show off the FAQ. So there's a full FAQ that, any kind of questions that you have on data services, data hosting, data storage, data usage is here. This is a really good resource for any kind of common questions that you might have. And one of the work tutorials here I'd like to show too that is new is actually styling a vector tile layer by using the vector tile style editor. So this is a new tutorial that walks you through actually how to use the vector tile style editor to update vector tiles. There's full steps on creating, saving. It's a really cool tutorial there. And also want to introduce, this is new that we've added, is a concept of workflows, which are kind of a tutorial on steroids. So kind of from the nothing, from zero to hero, as it were, right? We can step you through the process of obtaining data, uploading the data, creating the feature layer. And we also have included, you know, different options for product here. You know, if what you have, we have a sample for that, or a step for that. You know, if we're using enterprise, we have the steps for enterprise. Or if you're wanting to use, you know, the scripting API, so Python or ArcGIS, REST.js. But this workflow essentially takes you from having nothing to having a working application. So in this particular case, we upload a feature service data and perform some styling. Talk about creating views, how to do that in both the tools and the APIs. Right. Managing the server settings, so enabling editing, settings, what attributes are available. And at the end of the day, access, right? So obtaining an access token and using authorization for your services. And then at the end, we have the full code pen of that application as it's done, right? So I can select a feature here and perform, you know, maybe this address is wrong, so I can update that. All right. So from having nothing to uploading, creating a data service, going through the full process of managing, accessing, and then at the end we have a example here in CodePen. Let's see, how am I doing here? Oh, running out of time. Just real quick, some of the changes in the dashboard to support the data hosting. The layers now, under view details. So all your layers that you have in ArcGIS Online have a usage tab now. So you can look at the total usage as a spark line for how much bandwidth this feature service is using, you know, with a trend line. I can download all the usage for this particular layer. Or if I want to go to all my content, there's a breakdown by type, right, of how much I've used under, you know, my account here, how many Basemap tiles, right, places service, right, and it breaks down each of those requests that are made and what's happening, and that, so for each of those services, right, how many feature queries, how many map tiles I've used, right, for my full account. Let's see. So I think I got everything in there. The whirlwind. That I will pass it back to you, Courtney, unless there's any questions.
Yeah, we
I know
do
it's kind of
have.
quick.
Yeah, no, that was awesome. Yeah, it's an extensive amount of, you know, information,
Yeah.
and you guys have done a lot of work. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Let's see. We're gonna, if you could stop screen sharing, and then there we go. Cool. Yeah. So we do have a question. So are imagery services going to be included?
They are, yes. So next year we're working on including imagery services, scene services are on the board as well. So we're actively working on adding more services to these.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Yeah, and then one other thing that I shouldn't have asked you to stop screen sharing, but I'll go ahead and screen share it myself, I guess. So with all of this new documentation and everything, I know that we're always keen to, you know, getting your feedback. So I'm on the general, overview of data hosting page here, and it says, "Was this page helpful?" And so you can click yes or no, and then I believe that prompts you to then, send some feedback, which will be directly sent to the teams, right? The team directly.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. It's a real short survey, and it can, if you want to provide your feedback and let us know what what kind of developer you are, what you'd like to see more of, that kind of thing. It's all included in that little short survey.
Awesome.
So
Yeah, that's cool.
It'll really help with it for us. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Great. Cool. Well, I think that's it. Thank you so much, Mark. Yeah, definitely. Everyone be sure to check out all of the good content in there. You've done a lot of hard work, and there's a lot of, like as you were showing, the workflows, like there's so much great information to learn all about it. So cool. All right. I think we're going to go on to Anita next, who is going to, let's see, talk about Basemap with places, like
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, and then a couple of other things.
Yeah, for sure. And I do want to point out that Mark created a bunch of those apps in the data hosting chapter, so I think he did a really good job on it. And no, it's a lot of work, but I think in the end it's worth it just to have that information out there. But yeah, so while Mark talked about data hosting, I'm going to focus on Basemaps. All right, can you see my screen?
Yep, looks good.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, we also updated a lot of content for Basemaps, including the general Basemaps page. So I am in the Mapping APIs and Location Services guide, and in the Maps chapter, we have this Basemap layers page that steps you through how to access our basemaps from the Basemap style service and also from data services. But what I also want to focus on is the content that we created to support the two new capabilities of the Basemap style service, Worldview and Basemap Places. So Worldview and Basemap Places are currently in beta. So if you have any feedback or questions about it, then I encourage you to go to the early adopter program. And Courtney, I don't know if we can put that in the description at some point.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
awesome. Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, ArcGIS basemaps by default display country boundaries and labels using the global worldview. However, should you wish, you can update the borders and labels based on a specific view of a country using the worldview parameter. We added this example on the Basemap layers page to show you how to do that. In this example, we look at Morocco, and in the style URL, you will see this worldview parameter, and then we set that to an enumerated value, in this case, Morocco. If you want to see all of the values, I encourage you to go to the REST API documentation. For this example, we do have snippets for MapLibre and for OpenLayers, but I also want to point out that we recently updated the Vector Basemap Layer plugin for Esri Leaflet to not only make use of the new styles from the Basemap Styles service, but to also take advantage of the worldview and the Basemap Places parameter, which I'll talk about in a little bit. So here I am in the sample code for Esri Leaflet, and it's the same type of application where, in this case, I selected Morocco, but you see all of the other different countries that we have. The code is pretty straightforward, I would say. Yeah, right here. Once you instantiate the Vector Basemap layer plugin, you add your authentication and the version. So you do have to select version 2 for this because that's where Worldview and Places are available. And then, of course, whatever value you want for the Worldview parameter. So I know that was like a super quick look into the Worldview parameter, but I also want to move on to Basemap Places because I think it's pretty cool. Okay, so Basemap Places is this new feature where you're able to show or hide place locations in a basemap. So they are part of the basemap style, and you don't need like an additional layer or service to display these places. And the places represent businesses, landmarks, and other types of POI. We created this new page for Basemap Places because there are a lot of capabilities and functionality you can use with it. To access it, you have to use the places parameter, right? Yeah, right there. And then there are different values that you can use. For example, if you want to show or hide places, you would use the places parameter and set it to all. However, you can also change this to none to hide those places. You can also display places with attributes. So if like I hover over, say, the CVS pharmacy, you'll see the CVS pharmacy name, you'll see the place ID, and the style category. This is pretty important. Say if you're a MapLibre GLJS developer, you can actually use those baked-in attributes to get additional place information from the places service. And we walk you through that in a tutorial that we created recently to show you just that. So in this tutorial, if I hover over like this Walgreens, you'll get those baked-in attributes, name, place ID. However, when I click on the Walgreens POI, I actually access this places service to return additional information, such as its address, contact information, and rating. So I think this tutorial is pretty unique because it shows you like, I like to think of it as like the entire package, where you're not only using Basemap places, but you're also using the places service to make a more complete application. And the way you're able to do that is on this line, using query rendered features, you can get that place ID from the attributes and then use that with the get place details operation from the places service. So I know that's a lot of information, and I encourage you to check it out because I think it's a pretty cool feature. Before I hand it back to you, Courtney, I do want to point out that you may have been seeing this little question in the sidebar. Do you have documentation feedback? Take this short survey. So in addition to the feedback widget that you do see on the doc pages now, we created this new survey because we really want your input and feedback about your pains, your needs, and just your general sentiment on the documentation. The survey is short, and I'll take you through it right now. So, we ask basic information about, say, like the product you use, the types of applications you build, and the level of programming experience you have. And these all kind of inform how we structure and write our content. And then we ask about, say, developer resources. What do you think about the YouTube videos, the ArcGIS blog, the Postman collection, and the ArcGIS SDK documentation? And then we have more tailored questions to you depending on, say, the Maps SDK scripting API or other libraries that you use. So we have a question for Maps SDKs, and of course, if none of these apply to you, you can just say none. We have questions about the open source libraries you might develop with, the APIs, libraries, or frameworks that you might develop with, such as the Calcite Design System or Arcade, and then the REST APIs, and the developer guides. So I encourage you to take the survey because it'll really inform how we plan and structure our content in the future. And of course, we just love hearing feedback about what you think about our doc. So I think that is all of the stuff I wanted to cover. Not nearly as much as Mark, but still important, I think.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you, Anita. That survey, it's, we're honestly, our jobs, we're all here to help make the developer experience, better. So that will just enhance, everything that, the doc team does, Anita and Mark, and everything that Raul and I do in terms of, other social media stuff and everything. So please take the time, a couple minutes to fill it out, and it'll be helpful on both ends. So
definitely. Before I forget, we do also have a blog post coming out pretty soon. So just in case like you've missed any of the links or anything, we have that in there. So I'll send that to you as well. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, and we'll definitely put plenty of the links we've been sharing in the video description too.
Awesome.
one other thing that I thought about, which you were showing the Basemap places.
Yeah.
So that is currently in beta, right?
Yes, both Worldview and Basemap places are in beta.
Both are. Okay. Nice. Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. So yeah, a time to test things out, see how
Yes,
they work.
definitely.
Cool. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you, Anita. That was really informative. I really like to see these new enhancements, and it's always exciting to just see all of the new stuff that's happening. So, all right, we're gonna go ahead and go on to Raul next, who is going to talk a bit about a few different things, some things that have been happening in the, I guess, content realm and other ways. So let's see. Let's get Raul on here. There we go. Okay. All right. Pass it over to you, Raul.
Hello again. Yeah, let me share my screen. I want to start by talking about the Hacktoberfest. Okay, I guess you can now see my screen. So finally, we published our blog article. We have been meeting with some of the contributors. We're sending some pull requests to our repos during Hacktoberfest. Actually, Priyansu was on the live stream. So hi, Priyansu, you're still there. No, I just wanted to let you know that today we published this blog article. Well, in case you don't know what Hacktoberfest is, you haven't heard about it yet, it's the biggest hackathon that happens online every year. It's sponsored by different companies and many of other companies like Esri. We are joining that initiative, and the goal is to encourage developers to contribute to open source repository of their choice and try to get something out of it and kind of give back to the community. So we gave this year a Dev Summit ticket, which was won by Bruno. Here you can read the stories of each of these, well, a very short summary of the stories of the 5 participants we were meeting recently. And here at the bottom, here it is. We just share 3 of the most important highlights or takeaways, that we heard from all of them to kind of encourage you to actually think about and consider to participate. The first one is that we saw that the experienced developers as well as early or entry level developers or junior developers joined to the event and were contributing and received support from our repo maintainers, and they were very grateful with the support received. So they all shared that their experience was very good, and they all learn new things on the process. So it's something that I think it's very exciting. We are very, very happy. We have been trying to get on this Hacktoberfest initiative for a couple of years, and finally we were able to make it. We would love to see more of you joining us and during the next month of October. So this hackathon lasts from the first day of October to the last day of October. I know, Corny, if you want to add anything there, you have been supporting me a lot with this initiative.
No, just that, I mean, it was a really fun event, and we're excited to do it again next year, and we'll see. Maybe we'll offer some new kind of prizes or whatever next year. But yeah, it was definitely a lot of fun, and I mean, not only did our contributors, we learned a lot from them. I learned a lot just even in the process, and I know Raul did as well, of just kind of setting everything up. So it's and I know that they, at least the contributors, all said they had a good experience. So yeah, I think it's worth it in my opinion. So join us again next year. And I believe you said this, Raul, you can contribute anytime throughout the year to these repositories, but during the month of October, we really pushed for that. We have that Hacktoberfest drive. So.
Exactly, and that was one of the things I learned during the process, is that some of these contributors didn't even know that they could contribute to open source repositories any time of the year. So it's a very nice experience, at least for me, to know that we have been helping people to understand what open source is and how they can contribute to it at any time and be part of the whole community. So very exciting. I'm very happy that we did it. And as Alec said, it doesn't matter how much you know, you will always learn from open source. I think that statement is great. Yep. Highly encourage you to go here if you want to read more. We have been publishing several articles with highlighting which were these contributions, why to participate, so you can go back from this one. In addition to that, changing gears a little bit, but keep talking about blog articles. I just want to highlight that a lot of blog articles have been coming out lately. We have been supporting some of our colleagues building the developer SDKs to put some of these articles together, like this one that was published by Andy and the one that BBM published, both of them very recently. This is a really nice story that personal story from Andy going to hike the mountains and building a personal app and sharing that source code on GitHub and explaining why he did it, why the technology helped him to solve a personal issue. I think it's very exciting to, at least I loved to hear that, because I'm not a hiker. I haven't been doing this kind of, climbing. I'm using hike, it's climbing. But he does. I have never done that, at least on the outdoors. It was very, very nice to read that. And another few articles that are in here that you should take a look in case you have missed them are the updates that have been added to the new native SDKs, including the game engines ones, so to the Unity plugin and the Unreal Engine plugin, but also to all the native SDKs. So a lot of great content, as you know. In addition to the developer side, on the RJS blog, we keep publishing some related content that doesn't 100% belong to the documentation, but it's sometimes informative and we think educational sometimes. And now I'm going to switch to a different set of things. As you were saying, Courtney, I want to talk about content, and we are encouraging our colleagues to write content themselves on their own personal channels. I'm pretty sure most of you know Rene Rubalcaba, and I'm pretty sure many of you know his YouTube channel. In case anyone doesn't know it, I highly encourage you to search for Rene online. And I wanted to highlight that he has been recently focused a lot on doing a lot of interviews to a lot of our, well, not only Esri employees, but there are also some partners like David Hansen, which is a very knowledgeable guy and a great partner. And he's having a lot of interesting conversations with people internally and externally, but within the ecosystem, right? I think, Courtney, you are going to be soon on his podcast, right?
Oh yeah, he just asked me, so not in the future sometime. We're not sure yet, but yeah, it's
Awesome. Yeah. So you can, well, he used to use the video shorts to kind of give a highlight on what's the podcast about and what they discussed. But you can go to the Bounding Box, which is the name of his podcast, and listen all the chapters in here. As you can see, it's around 20 to 25 minutes long, each of them. And in addition to René's, I want to also highlight, Corny, your videos, because I know you have been putting a lot of effort lately in December with the Advent calendar.
yes.
I think it's something worth to mention here, because some of these links might not be so straightforward to find on the developer side or even on the RJS blog, but it's RJS related content. So I think it's worth for you to know. Here you can see this awesome playlist that Corny put together during the month of October with very short videos explaining, in this case, how to use Esri Leaflet with different location services and a few other things, which I highly encourage you to check them out. Are really easy to watch, to be honest.
Awesome, yeah.
I want to finalize sharing something that is not new, but I think it's not very well known. So, in case you use X, or formerly known as Twitter, as they keep saying on their emails, uh, I want you to know that if you go here under view lists, we have been trying to compile some of the accounts of some of the engineers working behind of the different products or different teams at Esri. So if you check in here, you will see we'll have a huge amount of them, but you can easily follow any of these playlists. And by this, well, in this way, you don't need to worry about if there are new engineers joining, sharing content on this social network. You can just follow this and unfollow us at any time. Um, Keep listening other updates that these engineers are sharing that sometimes, again, are not very straightforward to find on other channels. I highly encourage you to follow this list if you are a user of this social network. And that's it on my side.
Nice. Awesome. Yeah, well, thank you for highlighting all of that cool stuff. Yeah, I know Hacktoberfest was definitely a highlight of last year for sure. It was a lot of fun. Like I said earlier, I'm excited to do it again this year later.
Took us a lot of time to prepare, but as you said, we have learned so many things. We have prepared the repos much. Well, they are in a much better shape for next Hacktoberfest. So I'm sure next year we will keep learning, but it will be a more well. We'll keep this excitement, this adventure.
Yes, exactly. With a bit more preparation under our belts and everything, it'll be a little
Yeah,
easier to get into.
hopefully more repos, more maintainers joining us. But yeah,
Yeah.
we couldn't scale to manage more repos at that time.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. Okay, well, thanks, Raul. I've got a couple things that I'm going to talk about too, real quick, just related to some events that are coming up. So let me go ahead and share my screen here. Let's see. Okay, cool. All right. So the first thing that I want to mention is the Developer Summit that is happening at Esri's Fed GIS, the federal conference that's happening in Washington, D.C. It'll be at the Walter E. Convention Center. So I'll be there as I do live pretty close by. So if you happen to work for the federal government, I do know that you get like free admission to that, but you can always check the registration if you're interested in attending to see details there. Yeah, so it'll be a lot of fun. We'll have a general like opening session where you'll get to see a lot of demos from Esri engineers. We'll have a meet the teams hosted lunch, so you'll be able to meet some of the different team members from different product teams like the JavaScript SDK or native SDKs and so on. Then we'll have several technical sessions that you'll be able to attend as well. And then afterwards, there will be a fun like networking social. So maybe I'll get to see you there. And then the other thing, which is our big developer event that's coming up in March, is the Developer Summit that's happening in Palm Springs. It's from March 12th to 15th. Sorry, I think I forgot to say the exact date of the Fed thing. That was February 12th. So yeah, but March 12th to 15th, the entire registration agenda is on the website already. So yeah, this will be happening at the Palm Springs Convention Center in California, and there's going to be tons of technical sessions there. So I know I will be there. Anita and Mark and Tanner will also be there. So yeah, hopefully we'll get to say hi. Awesome. All right, so I think that's about it. What do you think? Is there anything else you want to say, Raul, on those conferences that you think I may need to add, or no?
Well,
Oh,
I
one
just
thing, a blog article that we'll put out for Dev Summit, right? Okay.
Exactly. That was I was going to say. I think we will be updating as soon as possible the story map we did last year to kind of share how the developer summit experience is, and that story map include an indoor map where you can navigate through the different areas, the booth, and where the different parties are happening. So in case you haven't ever gone to a developer summit and you are going by the first time, or you want to get a sense of how it is, even the final party, which is a very exciting, very fun party. Actually, it's one of the best parties I have ever been on an event, to be honest. It's crazy the amount of thing with the dodgeball, yeah, all this
Bouncy
different.
house thing. And
Exactly,
yeah.
it's amazing. So yeah, we will be sharing that, and we will be updating that blog article that we keep refreshing every year with what's new and updating the behind the scenes or the indoor map with new expo area distribution and all these kind of things.
Yeah. Awesome. Cool. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and let's get everyone back here on the screen. Well, except for Tanner, who is, at CES, just doing his thing.
He's having fun. It's not working.
Oh, darn. He's in Vegas. Yeah. Well, thank you everyone for joining. I hope this was, informative, and we look forward to doing this again in a few months. And again, your feedback is always beneficial to us. So please, if you have the time, fill out that survey and provide any feedback you have to specific doc pages, on the website and everything. So
Click the like button if you want us to keep doing this, so that we get some feedback if you are enjoying it or not. Or leave a comment with your suggestion if you want to hear something different.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
like and subscribe, right?
Yep. Yep, exactly.
And check the bell, right? It's like,
Yes,
check the
there you go.
bell.
Sign up for notifications. Yeah.
Exactly.
Cool.
Awesome.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys
Thanks,
next time.
guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.